More than $1 million is being invested across Northeast Wisconsin through a single year and technical assistance grant.
Now, the funding will help tackle issues like child care access and mental health before they reach a breaking point. New tonight, two local organizations share how that funding is already being put to work. More than $1.5 million is being awarded across Northeast Wisconsin through the Basic Needs Giving Partnership. One of the recipients, Encompass Early Education and Care, received a $75,000 planning grant.
At its core, the project is really meant to understand the systemic issues that are happening within the community and within the families that we serve.
Leaders say the goal is to listen and use that information to strengthen support for families raising children.
So this planning grant is going to allow us that flexibility and opportunity to really hear the voices of our people.
Those challenges often extend far beyond childcare.
So some of the ones that we know about are housing insecurity as well as food insecurity and just general access to other resources that families need in order to thrive.
And the same grant program is also investing in mental health support, including a $75,000 grant to Ebb and Flow Connections Cooperative and their community living room in Appleton.
Community living room was built to break down all the barriers that people find to seeking support.
The nonprofit focuses on social connection and emotional health, an approach they say is increasingly important as isolation grows.
Right now, people are feeling more isolated and lonely than they ever have. And so focusing on connection and allowing us to do training, allowing us to build relationships of trust.
For Ebb and Flow, the funding also provides stability, allowing them to sustain and grow services.
This funding will absolutely, it helps us take a breath. Okay, we're covered. We can continue and sustain the work and grow the work that we're doing.
Planning and implementation efforts for many of the recipients is already underway. Leaders with Encompass say their first community listening session will begin March 24th.